Hey, this is Robert again, and this is tutorial 4 of our new Virtual Studio 12 pack, and this is kind of another variation on the same Virtual Studio backgrounds that we've been working with, and this one is kind of in the top area of the studio background. It's above the kind of main overlook on the studio. And yeah, so I was just going to kind of show you how this animation works. We basically have a lady kind of walking in. You'll see kind of our main background, main large static monitor with an animation going, some background animations going there as well. Another thing we have going on is this railing, which is in front of our talent layer there. And so I'll show you how to do that with just the QuickTime file that we have. We have a QuickTime file that is the main animation background, and then we'll place a kind of a mask basically above the talent so that we can kind of get them behind the railing there. So yeah, so let me get started here. This is Premiere Pro. This is actually CS5, I believe. I've not upgraded quite yet, but hopefully that'll be coming pretty soon. So let me just delete out all these files so far and go over and grab the files that we need. So in this tutorial here, we're going to use this stock footage of this lady on the green screen. We'll use a different piece of footage that we don't have right here. I gotta go grab it. But we'll use this piece and this piece of animation. Bring those in, and then actually have 12. This animation right here, which is our main studio background, we'll drag that in as well. Alright, and so first things first, we need to set up a new sequence for our animation. So we'll go File, New, Sequence. This is where you set up your resolution, frame rate, whatever format you want the video to be in. We've got a 1080p video here, and we'll call this one Tutorial 4, and then click OK. Alright, so that sets up your sequence. So first thing we're going to do is drag the talent onto the top layer. It'll be video layer 3, and to keep organized, we're going to right click on that layer, select rename, and call that one talent. And so you can see that we have this little piece of footage. It's actually a little bit less than the HD resolution that we're working at, but because we're doing a full body, we'll only have to scale it up just a hair just to get it kind of right. I'm going to use the center section of her, kind of where she walks in. So the first thing I would do is got to crop out the excess footage that we don't need. So if you go over to your effects window, you may need to go Window, Effects, but if you go over to your effects window, you can go to Video Effects and whatnot, or easier way is this little search bar right here. If you start typing in crop, C-R-O-P, you'll see that under Video Effects, Transform, there is a crop effect that we can drag and apply to this layer. So now if we select this layer, we go to our Effects Controls tab, there's a crop effect applied. We'll drop it down. We can crop left, crop top, right, or bottom. So we're going to crop the left area first. So if we start dragging that, crop that part out, and then we'll crop the right part right there. And so now we're just left with the center portion of the footage, which is what we want. The next thing we're going to do is knock out the green in the Chroma Key background there. And so go back to your effects window, start typing in key, K-E-Y, and you'll see under Video Effects folder, under Keying, you have all these different kinds of keying options. Most people go straight to the Chroma Key effect, and it's an okay effect, but it tends to be a little more difficult to isolate the key than another effect, key effect. I'll just kind of show you real quick. You can see how it's even this, which is a really great piece of footage with the green. It has trouble with some of the more fine details and that kind of thing. So if I delete that key, I'm going to come down here to Ultra Key right there, and that's built in with Premiere for a while now. I'll drag Ultra Key onto the talent layer. Select the layer, go to your effect controls, go to Ultra Key, drop that down, sample. Use the eyedropper to sample the green in the shot. Boom, pops it right out, no big deal. You can still go in there and kind of adjust your settings and whatnot if you want to, which will help a little bit, but this is good for me for right now for what we're doing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the Virtual Studio layer onto this video layer 2. So I'll go back over to our media bin here and drag the Virtual Studio background down onto the layer 2. And I'll right click on video 2, click rename, call this one Studio, hit return, so that will stay nice and organized. So let me zoom in on my timeline just a little bit. You can do that using your plus or minus key to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so you can kind of see that our lady is a little bit too much of a munchkin at this point, so we want to scale her up a little bit, position her over. You can see in the shot she walks from behind kind of a area, and so what we're going to do is just kind of crop out that portion of the clip because we just don't need it. So first thing, let me scale her up a little bit. Maybe about right there, maybe. And then I'll position her up and over on the walkway there. Maybe scale her down just a little bit. This is supposed to be a pretty big screen, so we want it to still be kind of present as being something that's pretty large. Okay, so that's not too bad there. And then what we'll do is we'll bring back to where she makes it right out of there of the clip, so right there. And we'll kind of trim off that first portion of the clip. Right click, ripple delete, brings you back to the 0 point, and you can see she just kind of walks in, but we don't see where she kind of all of a sudden appears. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the layer on there, and so now what we need to do is we need to put the railing in front of her so that we can put her behind the railing, so it kind of gives it a little bit more depth and doesn't look like she's tightrope walking on the railing there. And so this particular animation, basically the way it starts is that you go through, and the first, I believe, 24 seconds of the clip is a perfect loop. So right here, right there, and the very beginning of the clip are exactly the same. So if you if you go to that point and select the clip and go sequence, razor track, oops, gotta have the layer selected right there, sequence, razor tracks, then it'll slice it right where that start point is, and I'm gonna so this is the portion, this is just the isolated railing, and so I'm gonna slice that part off and then drag it up to a new layer, which will be on top of our main lady there. And then if we want to extend this scene out for longer than 24 seconds, you can just copy this clip right here, Control C or Edit Copy, and then paste right after the clip there, paste, and then you can extend it for however long you want, and it's a nice perfect loop, and you won't even see a jump or anything like that in between those two clips. So going back to the railing though, what we're going to do is we are going to apply a chroma key to remove this green so that we have the isolated railing that we can put on top of our talent layer. Then we're going to pause this layer, this animation, so that we can extend it for however long we need the railing to be in the scene for. So let me right-click on Video 4 and just rename it Railing. And then I will go back to our effects library and apply an Ultra Key effect to the railing layer. All right, and then I'll go to the effect controls for this and drop down Ultra Key, select my eyedropper, sample the green in the scene, and you can see that it automatically isolates and places the railing above our talent layer. So it kind of gives her a little bit more depth into the scene really easily. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pause that clip so that we can extend it for a little bit further for our whole scene. And so the way to do that is to select the railing clip, go to Marker, Set Clip Marker, Next Available Numbered. Okay, and then right-click on the clip, go to Frame Hold, and then select Hold On, and then we'll select the marker 0, which is the marker that we just applied to that layer. So basically it will hold wherever, it'll hold the shot wherever we put that marker. And then we click OK. And then what we can do is right-click, go to Speed and Duration. We'll just do something super small like 5%. And then that'll extend out our railing foreground element for as long as we need it to be there in the animation. You could do it in a different way. I mean, you could export the animation. You could bring it into Photoshop and then save out a alpha layer or alpha file. So it could be like a PNG or a Targa or a TIFF or something like that. You could always go through those extra steps and then also bring that in as well. This just kind of keeps you within inside of Premiere as you're editing. So the next thing what we're going to do is change the color of this background a little bit so that it's the background changes. So we get a little different. Instead of the red, we're going to change it to orange. And so the way to do that is to come back over to your effects library and do start searching for HLS, or you can search color, and you'll see color balance HLS right here, and drag that and apply it to your studio layer. Oops. Yeah, to your studio layer, unlike what I did there. And then select your studio layer and drop it down, and you'll have hue, lightness, and saturation adjustments. And the hue will allow you to change the hue of the clip itself. And so you can adjust that to whatever you need, and it kind of gives you some different color options so that you're not stuck with, if you don't like the red or if it doesn't match your branding or what have you, then you can knock it out. And this monitor here, we're just going to key out this whatever color this is. So if it's blue, if it's green, if it's purple, it really doesn't matter as long as it's different than the color around it, which it is. We won't have any trouble at all knocking it out. And so now let's do that. Let's apply a chroma key. So we'll go back to our effects library, click key, K-E-Y, come down to Ultra Key and drag that onto the studio layer. Drop down Ultra Key, use the eyedropper to sample the blue now that it's blue in this screen, and it pops it right out. And then we'll put our background, our main animation in that little area there. So the next thing we're going to do is take this this little looping animation that we have. We'll take it and drag it down to the bottom layer. Right-click, rename it, call it B-roll. All right, you can see that pops right into this animation area here. But it's not scaled quite to the area, so we're going to need to scale it and position it. So if you lock the other layers, so you've got these 3 layers right here, we'll just lock them right there. You select this layer, go to the Effect Controls, go to Motion, and then Scale. You can drag that scale back a little bit, scale it, and then you can actually click inside of your preview monitor area to kind of click and position. We'll want to apply a 3D effect so that we can swivel or tilt this animation a little bit so that it matches a little bit more on this screen. So go back to your effects and do a search for 3D, and you'll see that under the video effect perspective there's a basic 3D effect that you can then drag and apply to your B-roll layer. And then in the Effect Controls tab, drop it down and adjust the swivel in the layer to get it kind of quite right. And you can kind of change, rotation a little bit if you have to, just to get it generally right. It doesn't have to be perfectly perfect. And then you can scale it up. It's gonna the way the system, where the animation's set up anyways, it's gonna be masked, masked around the edges here anyways. So it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but just kind of somewhat so that it's close in perspective and that kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. Actually, we could do one more thing. I'm going to add a little bit of reflection. This gets a little bit more advanced than what some people might want to do. But we're going to add a little bit of a reflection underneath the feet of our talent here. And the way that we'll do that is I'm going to copy, actually I'm going to cut this broadcaster, this talent layer. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So Edit, Cut, or Control X. All right, so we'll cut like we're removing her basically. We're going to set up a new sequence. And so we'll go to File, New, Sequence. We'll call this Talent. Use the same settings as before. And then we'll do Edit, Paste. So that we get our talent footage back into the back on the timeline there. Okay, I'm going to move this up to the second video layer, and then I'm going to copy it again and then paste it on, oops, bring it up, paste. Okay, so now we have two instances of this video, and so now what we want to do is actually flip this piece of footage and then have it almost look like a reflection underneath her right there. And so we'll do a, let's see, I think we can do, yeah, we can do a vertical flip effect on this bottom layer there, and you can see that she automatically, boom. And then we'll select that bottom layer, position it down, just like that, right? And then we will change the opacity. So select opacity in the things, and then reduce the opacity over there. And then we'll go back to our main sequence, and now we'll bring this talent sequence, the whole sequence itself, onto the main layer there. And you can see now that she's got you can see that she's got a little bit of reflection down there now. Right there. And then to crop that little bottom area right there, we can do a little bit of a we can do a another crop effect and apply it to the talent sequence, and then we'll crop a little bit of the bottom off just to kind of get it generally good so that you don't see that edge coming over the edge of the animation there. And so now you can kind of see how it comes in a little bit there. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or anything, just get in touch with us. We'll have the other tutorials up on YouTube as well. And I'll also put links in the YouTube description for those other different tutorials. Thanks for listening.